This is Rating Descending,
where we watch IMDb's worst 250 movies so you do not have to.
I'm Michelle St. Clair.
I'm Abigail Wong.
And this week we watched Extreme Movie, a sketch comedy movie about the joys and embarrassments of teen sex, but mostly the embarrassments. Let's watch.
Beautiful.
So your name's Abigail War?
Wah.
What is it? What is it good for, you know? Or maybe it's like very like Luigi or was it Waluigi? Wah!
Yeah, I didn't really play Mario very much. These references mean nothing to me.
I mean, but you know, of Mario.
No.
We did the Super Mario
Clearly
Bros.
I
movie.
didn't, because you had to educate me.
Yeah, but
thoroughly.
I've already explained all this to you.
You
That
think
was
I
this
remember?
year. Come on.
You were so
Abigail.
naive. You were so naive.
I've been fooled, humbled, and cuckolded yet again.
I think I had COVID like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And because it felt exactly the way that COVID had felt in January, but all my rat tests said negative. Turns out that there's a strain of Omicron where rat tests don't pick up on it. So I probably did have COVID again. And the brain fog and fatigue, like I'm still feeling it a bit, but I'm way better.
Yeah.
But God, there was a couple of days there where I would just forget immediately what I'd been doing, and it made me fearful.
Yeah.
I was like, if I can't imagine living like this through like long COVID or long fatigue, I would want to die.
I feel like we're in general find it hard to imagine things that affect your cognitive ability because we're only used to the way that we think. And I felt that in particular back when I got a concussion, when I hit my head and became evil.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I didn't realize that until that moment. I don't think I really understood fully what a concussion was.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, it's like in the same way that like if I hurt my arm, using my arm is more difficult. This makes using my brain more difficult and hurts. Oh, wow. That's really different than how I imagined it in my head, which is now I realize basically just a bad migraine, not what a concussion's like.
Yeah. It's odd, the feeling of memory loss, because I had realized that I was struggling to recall anything. And there was this one day where I was at this, I'm doing like my Cert 4 in training and assessment. And we do it like, you know, I go once a week. And someone asked, so let's do a recap on what we've done like for the last term. And I just like sat there and I was like, I can't think of, I couldn't recall. You know how like, obviously it's hard to describe how people's memories work and it's all very different. But when I'm trying to recall something, it's almost like visually I'm scanning, you know, like a database in my brain of like the visuals of where I was sitting and who I know and what we had talked about. And none of that was coming back to me. And it scared me. I felt like I was scanning an empty shelf. I was like, where are my files? My files have been moved.
My files.
Yeah. And
my data.
It scared me. And I remember I wanted to pitch in because I wanted to be, you know, I wanted to participate. But I just could not recall literally one thing. And then I thought, wait, no. We wrote down a list on a big piece of paper. What was the list? And I had done that list in a group. I was the one writing it. And I just couldn't recall, and it scared me. Terrified me. But now I'm back to normal.
Well, I just love imagining that you have a Sherlock Holmes style mind palace.
Most people do, don't they?
Well,
in a sense.
People use it as a technique. Some people do
it's
it.
It's a very old technique.
Yeah, some people do it instinctually. Like it sounds like you do it instinctually rather than intentionally. But some people learn to do it.
I could do it more. I do it vaguely, where like it's almost like, you know, it's not necessarily like I'm seeing a full shelf, but I categorize. I think everyone just subconsciously categorizes their memories and store them in specific places. So I was thinking, well, all of my memories of this course would be in this classroom. Therefore, let me scan everything I, you know, have on file about whatever has happened in this class.
I'm very visual driven in that when I'm trying to recall information that's from a book or a Wikipedia page, I picture the Wikipedia page in my head to try and like remember what it says.
Well, also Claude was describing how he was like, you know, like some people remember their ABCs because they're just seeing the ABCs. And I was like, I look at the ABCs. And he was like, would you be able to recite the ABCs backwards because you can see them? And I was like, yes. Oh. And he was like, what the fuck? I was like, how do you store the ABCs? And he was like, not like that.
No, yeah. I feel like to go backwards, I have to go forwards first.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like re-coordinating myself every time by going forwards.
To be fair, the ABCs are quite easy because I think in a lot of primary school classrooms, you've just got like these boards with the ABCs up. And
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like you almost just see the visual pattern of the letters next to each other and you memorize
I mean, I often use, I can't remember if I've talked about this, that French videotape that I had. I lived in France for 6 to 12 months when I was younger. And that meant a bunch of my childhood stuff was French. I had that French videotape of a bunch of, there used to be VHSs that were just like, here's like 12 kids songs with an animation or a person singing it or whatever. Just like shorts, but for kids. It was a bunch of those, but in French, and one of them was the French alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K,
But this is
L.
auditory, right? This is like you remember
but
a
it
song.
had an animation with each of the letters coming up. H, I, J, K, L.
But they're the same letters as ours, aren't they?
M-N-O, P-Q. Of course. M-N-O, P-Q.
Peku.
R-S-T, U-V, W. And then there's a whole bit for W.
Beautiful.
W, W, W. Oh, W, W, W. R-S-T, U-V, W. And then it's just like X, Y, Z. Boring. Sucks. You fucking nailed
whatever.
it the whole fucking time.
Claude said that back in the day, the reason that people used to be better at keeping things on file in their brain is that we didn't have a lot of facilities to store information and keep it. So if people needed to remember things, like paper was expensive.
Sure.
So like if you're like thinking about like ancient Rome, ancient Greece, if people weren't able to afford paper to write things down on, they had to get good at memorizing. And the whole technique of storing your memories in a house is almost what they'd do. Like Claude was reading a book about memory. It was so interesting because I've thought a lot about it as well. He was like, it's an old ancient technique, the whole Sherlock Holmes mind palace, where you think of a house that you know really well. It's easier if you don't imagine it. It's like a proper house, like a childhood home or an art gallery that you've gone to a lot, where you know all the rooms. And then say it's an art gallery, one particular piece of art that you've seen there again and again, you store certain things in that piece of art. Or if it's at home, you store things in that particular drawer in your kitchen.
No, I like it being art because then it feels like Super Mario 64. Now, I know you don't understand.
I don't understand the reference.
But in that, to go to the levels, you go inside the castle and then you jump into a painting of that level. It's very cool.
I could store my memories in Croc Legend of the Gobbos. Every level.
If you insist, you could. That's how you...
Ding, 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 ding. That's him sucking up the crystals.
The
Crystals are my memories. And he's taking them.
No! Your memory crystals!
Oh my God.
Fight! You have to kill Croc.
Oh my God.
Yes.
But he's so powerful with his little tail. And he goes, wahoo!
Wahoo!
Wahoo! I would store some memories in the ice level. And then I'd store memories in the cool dungeon level as well. Yeah.
Is that like the last one?
Yeah, it's the hardest
Yeah,
one.
I
Yeah,
know,
it's a tough level. It's a tough time.
Is the
To be
ice one
honest,
like 7? Is it an odd number?
the ice one, like in terms of the ranking of the level?
But aren't they in order?
So the
You go
first
through one
is
after the other?
forest,
Yeah.
and then the second one is ice.
My second one is ice.
Third one I think is sand.
I feel like ice is usually either second or second last.
I know, but it was second in this one. And to be fair,
The second in Crash Bandicoot 2.
look, I know we need to start the movie, but because we're on the topic of Croc, I don't know how, obviously I do know how I was a kid with nothing else to do, but the amount of time I must have sunk into Croc, because playing it as an adult, I was like, this is hard. This was incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
And I probably spent hour after hour perfecting each run through of each level and knowing it off by heart. Because as an adult coming to it, I'm like, who has the time to learn all this shit? This is crazy.
No old game. Like a lot of old games are hard, and some of it is like janky controls, but some of it is also intentional because it's like it adds to the runtime and stuff in a way that's really good. Like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, a game I played all throughout my childhood, is a very short game if you just sit down and play the whole thing. But it's hard. So you
it
can't
takes a
do
long
that.
time, yeah.
A game that has struck that balance perfectly is Super Mario Brothers 3.
I don't understand the reference.
As a God,
I don't understand what you're saying. It's more of a Croc girl.
well, speaking of bitter disappointments, this week we watched an extreme movie.
Didn't think I'd completely derail you from what you're about to say.
Doesn't matter.
You don't need to give up.
No, it doesn't matter. It
I feel
doesn't matter.
bad.
It doesn't matter.
I don't feel bad.
Now, I mentioned at the end of last week. I'm trying to talk to you.
Sorry.
I'm trying to talk to you.
I'm sorry, mommy.
Ew. I'm not your mother.
Why is it ew?
Because I'm
This is
not
a very
your
innocent
mother.
child-mother relationship.
It's not a child-mother relationship.
is.
You're my mommy.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's right.
Well, if you're my mommy and I'm your mommy, this is sinister. This is scary.
Yeah.
Something awful has happened.
That's why I'm terrified.
Oh my God.
This is horrifying
what
to learn.
disgusting man is behind all of this?
Hey, it's me, Jeremiah. I'm pretty perverted, but outside of that, I seem pretty innocuous.
Get rid of I hate this guy. Get rid of him.
I'm falling down the hole.
Yay!
He's gone. He's gone. I mentioned at the end of last week that I was absolutely fucking terrified when finding this movie because let me tell you, kids, going on Google and also going on unscrupulous websites and searching for extreme movie.
Yeah.
Given what we've had to legitimately watch on this podcast,
Yeah.
so scared. So scared.
It's so dumb. For some reason, you said it was called Extreme Movie. You had mentioned that last week, and I didn't put together it would be about sex. But hey, I'm just going to say up front, I need to get this out of the way. It ended after 1 hour and 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Therefore, 9 out of 10.
69. No, it was 72 minutes, wasn't it? Oh, you didn't watch the credits.
I do tend to close the laptop as soon as it's over.
The watching ceases 69.
Hey, do you reckon it was intentional?
No.
69. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
60
I had
plus
to do
9.
Quick math. Some quick math. Anyway, I made a joke and you didn't laugh at it. What was the joke?
What was the joke?
COVID's wiped my memory. Hang on, let me go into my shelf palace. Let me go into Croc Legend of the Gobbo's ice level.
It's the X-Files theme.
No, I've
She's
lost it.
searching.
It turns out imagining Croc is just distracting.
I think you were
Didn't
putting a
work.
lot of sauce on the sound effects, and I don't think it was helping you figure
All
out.
I was thinking was like bubbling lava. I got swept away.
Yeah. Look, literally 2 days ago, I flew to Sydney for an award I was nominated
By yourself?
for by
Like-
myself,
Not on a plane.
not on a plane.
That's amazing.
It was exhausting. I spent 20 minutes in the rain on the tarmac
Yeah.
before I,
They
as a
allowed
person,
you to take off.
before I took off. I went there. I didn't win. Came back literally yesterday morning. I
Didn't
woke
win
up at
what?
like
You didn't
5:40.
mention why you went to Sydney.
I said I went for an award ceremony
okay.
for a thing I was nominated.
See,
Get
my-
your
my-
head out of your ass.
I'm trying to get it out of Croc.
Get that shit out of your ears, Abigail. And then came home so that I could watch this movie.
What a
I don't know
great end.
which thing I found more disappointing.
Look, again, can I stress, an hour and 9 minutes. Is it that disappointing?
Yeah, but at what cost? Because I was like, oh, 69, 72 minutes. This will be breezy, easy peasy. And then I start watching it and I'm like, oh, at least it's only 72 minutes. How far am I in? And it was 20 minutes. And I was like, oh my God.
See, I had
How
a
is it-
different.
Oh my God.
I had a different.
You enjoyed
experience.
this?
No, let's not say that. No, I didn't.
This is so
But
defensive.
I didn't go to Sydney, and I didn't get nominated for an award show.
Yeah.
So I couldn't not.
Ironically,
win one
you
either.
did win one though.
Yeah, that's right. yeah, it was this like emerging editors award in Sydney. I didn't care about it much. I just kind of went on, shrugged it off, went, don't even give a shit. So that didn't happen to me. And then when I watched this film, I had no expectations and I didn't know it would be 72 minutes. So when it ended, I was like, score! I've reclaimed a bit of my sacred time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was relieving to just get this movie finished with.
Yeah. And look, I will say, terrible film, obviously, but I did laugh at a couple of bits.
I've never been
did.
more mad at my own laughter.
Yeah. There
Yeah.
were. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was a handful of times where I was like, "That's
Yeah.
actually funny." And you know what really made me laugh was Michael Cera's whole bit. To be honest,
Really?
Yeah.
I thought of everyone I know, you would have hated that bit the most.
well, no, because
I liked
was,
it maybe some of the least.
Really? Why? Because it was like completely consensual.
I know it was completely consensual. Well, let's get into the key detail.
Okay, all right.
We can't drop
skip
in.
ahead.
No, but we can't drop in. It was consensual with no context and have the listeners not be so worried.
There was a lot of things that teetered on how funny male rape is, like men getting raped, and
Well,
then
yeah, a lot of the jokes are what if a man had sex but he didn't like it?
Yeah,
And a lot of the
or-
other jokes are what if a woman thought about sex.
And then also, like, what if we conned this beautiful woman into having sex with us, which still doesn't feel consensual
No,
if you
it's
have
not.
to trick a woman into fucking you.
Yeah.
Go on, Michelle, give us the key details. I'd love to know what fucking guy directed this, because I know that no woman had a hand in any making of this, because everything is from the male perspective, and the only female character that got her own skit, it was about her masturbating with a phone that she lodged up her vagina. And then the punchline is her dad saying, "Is your vagina ringing?" And she goes, "No, Daddy." And he goes, "Huh, could have sworn your vagina was ringing." And that's
Which is not it's not a punchline.
It's not a punchline.
It's not a punchline.
And so that was the end of it. And that was the one skit from a female perspective about sex.
Hey.
So I'd love to know who was behind this.
Writers at home, anyone listening who has any intentions of writing, let me give you a little piece of advice here. Saying the thing that the audience is watching isn't a joke. That's not a punchline. It can't be a joke in the middle, nor can it be a joke at the end. Is for a character to go, wait, is that thing the audience is seeing, is that happening? What, cut to black? What are you doing? Tell me a joke. Oh my God.
Calm down, Michelle.
No. I will not get any calm up.
She's taken off.
I didn't like this.
She's sprinting down the runway.
I didn't like this one.
Zoom, there she goes into the sky.
Ah, here I am in the sky. I'm chucking thunder down. I am the new Thor. Spittle is flying out, and that's what rain is.
Oh, Thorina.
What?
Thorina.
Oh, Thorina.
The lady Thor.
The lady.
Yeah.
All right, so this came out in 2008.
It makes sense.
Okay. Before I get into the next bit, I want to mention that some of the struggle is that this had the same struggles as when we did movie 43, where it is a sketch thing.
So
it's
there's
a series of sketches.
There's a million actors.
Except movie 43 had important actors and people watched it, which meant that there was a lot of information about it. That is not the case here.
Oh.
This is one of the more difficult episodes to do notes about. So the directors of what seems to be the whole thing is Adam J. Epstein and Andrew Jacobson. But I'll mention the writers. Now, it didn't in the movie credits or on IMDb list which writers did what sketches.
Okay.
So I can't confirm that for you, as far as I could tell. But also, it's a lot of teams. So it was Adam J. Epstein and Andrew Jacobson, Will Forte and John Solomon, Phil Lord and Chris Miller. The credits on this are insane, by the way.
Yeah.
I just said Will Forte and Lord and Miller.
Yeah.
Andy Samberg, Akiva Schaffer, and Jorma Taccone.
Yeah.
And then the only single writer, Erica Rivenoya.
Oh, so there was one woman.
There was one woman.
Did she write the one for the one girl?
I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe she did write that one.
Wow.
Who
there was
could
so
tell?
much shit in this film where it was like, this is the experience as a man when you're drunk and you're finding it hard to come. And then it's like, but you clearly don't know what the sexual experience for a woman is at all.
Let me tell you, it really reminded me of a lot of the kind of jokes and content were made for teenage boys and their burgeoning sexuality in the 2000s.
And not teenage girls.
And not teenage girls, but in particular, like this kind of sexism, this kind of dealing with sex as well, of like...
It's always from the male perspective. It's actually, it enrages me because when we grew up, all of the raunchy teenage sex comedies are always about boys. It's always. Yeah. Female sexuality is swept under the rug. Girls don't have it.
What I want to say, though, is that it's not just that it's from the male perspective, because you're right. But I honestly think the worst issue is that the male perspective it provides is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, it is. But that's all of the male perspective sex comedies for teenagers.
But that's what I mean. It doesn't have to, like, it would still be a problem if there was no female perspective. But if at the very least it was like men earnestly being like, oh man, I'd like to have some sex or whatever, and then trying to navigate that. That's something. That's at least something. This is trying to trick women into having sex and then being horny in a way that goes like, isn't it really funny, the idea that I'm going to take off my condom without her knowing and give her STDs?
Yeah, it's gross as. It goes without saying, but it's fucking annoying that like when I think about it, every coming of age sex film is like American Pie for the boys trying to lose their virginity, Superbad, boys trying to lose their virginity, fucking Extreme Movie where it's like a series of 8 different guys wanting to get laid. It's so annoying. And when you think about it, even only recently have people started to, kind of delve into what it is for like female sexuality growing up.
Yeah.
And it's a different experience.
I don't think teenagers now understand what it was like in the 2000s, because the sex comedies in the 80s were very different, but also the sex comedy was a rare genre, and then it boomed in the 2000s in like the worst way. This is what I'm trying to say, the specific experience, because at that point it would have been marketed towards someone like me, someone who's already struggling with issues around sexuality and stuff. And this is not the kind of thing that you want to model any behavior off of.
Yeah, I just feel like all of the content is always it's so crazy and scary. Like, it's so hard when you're a virgin and you should get laid with the prettiest girl in class, but I can't understand them. You got to make them like you. So just lie about yourself. Like, try really hard and lie. And then they have sex and the girl is gorgeous. And when she takes off her clothes for the first time, the guy is too excited. It's like the same thing again and again and again.
Well, I'm okay with it being again and again and again, because like that is like, aside from the relative attractiveness, like, there will still, a 13-year-old will want to watch something that is new more than something that is older. And, you know, they're allowed to have sex comedies that include them wanting to have sex with someone and then messing up the experience or whatever. But the framework of this is gross.
That's not what I'm saying, though. You can have nice, insightful films like that, but I'm talking about the 2000s sex comedy that came out in the 2000s again and again and again, where it was the same iteration of the same problematic viewpoint again and again and again.
Yeah.
Go on. Go on.
Why are you angry at me now?
Just angry for women, as always.
But this is what I mean. I'm also angry because of the specific way that a movie like this teaches men to be disgusting to women.
Well, I'm angrier than you.
Okay.
I win.
You did it. You did it, Amy.
You know, I was so angry last night because I was listening to an episode of Criminal, fantastic podcast, about the first rape kits that were ever created.
Yeah.
And the woman who created the rape kit and thought, hang on, like, you know, rapes aren't getting trial. Like, they're not going to trial because there's no evidence being collected at the hospital. We need to train nurses into taking evidence and signing off, yes, I saw this and so. She put together the first rape kits, and then she's going around America visiting hospitals, teaching nurses how to use them. Amazing woman. In the middle of all of this, she goes on a holiday to Hawaii and she gets raped. And I was like telling this to Claude. I was like, I'm just so fucking angry. And he was like, go to sleep. You need to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I was getting really worked up about it. I could have taken off. I could have flew myself to Sydney.
So this movie is starring.
Okay.
We got to get into the actual movie. This movie's starring, and this was also hard because it was hard to cross-reference. Movie 43 had a lot of sketches. Some of the sketches in this were like a minute long, so I couldn't just do the same thing of going like, here is each sketch and we'll just do it that way. But this is generally starring Ryan Pinkston, Michael Cera, Matthew Lillard, Frankie Muniz, Ben Feldman, Jamie Kennedy, Kevin Hart, Andy Milonakis, John P. Farley, and Kyle Gass is the quickest way I could summarize it. With returning actors, Matthew Lillard from Wing Commander and In the Name of the King of Dungeon Siege. Mm-hmm. So upsetting.
This is getting grim for him.
Yeah, it is. I'll come back to him. Ryan Pinkston, who was in Spy Kids 3D, Game Over, and Soul Plane.
Who was Ryan Pinkston?
He was like the main kid in the main series of Mike.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, how old was he when he played the character?
Who knows? Like 20 or something?
Yeah, probably.
Robert John Burke, who is RoboCop in RoboCop 3, Kevin Hart, who is in Soul Plane, a superhero movie, and Jermaine Williams was in Fat Albert and The Comebacks.
There's a lot of people climbing the all-star list.
There really is. And you know what? I thought there would be more. There might be more, but there's like 40 casts to manually search through. It's very hard. Also, I will say, as part of my notes, like, there's like 10 to 12 Disney Nickelodeon people in this. It feels
what the fuck?
So bizarre.
Strange.
The budget for this was $1.2 million.
Okay.
Now, I'll preface what I'm about to say by saying in the United States, it only was released to DVD. So this box office is only reflective of its international sales.
Okay.
$81,000.
Fuck. Fuck.
From 1.2 million.
Fuck.
Well, who would go see this in cinemas?
No, yeah. It's not something you can take your family to, necessarily. There's some pretty...
It's not something you take anyone to. It's something that you go see because you are deeply ashamed.
The film starts with Frankie Muniz doing anal with a girl. And the scene went for a bit too long where it was just kind of like... It was too much.
It's also it's a movie made by and for teenagers.
Yeah.
This movie must be rated R. Like they can't go see it in theaters.
No. So who's going to go see it?
Why would it be a theatrical release? They can't go watch it. What
Yeah.
20-year-old is getting off to this movie? It's the kind of movie you watch when you're 14
Yeah.
because it's like the first time a boobie is on screen and everything is really, you've just like been on the bowels of the internet and boobies are funny. Now they're funny, as an adult, boobies are still funny, but they're funny in a different way. It's not just like, oh, this hot woman has boobies and they're showing them. It's funny because I'm horny. Now it's just like, boobies are silly.
It was a particular time where, like, if you're a teenager, you were like, oh my God, that film has a sex scene in it, you know? And you'd be like watching it being like, oh my God, when's the sex scene gonna come up? Oh my God. Like in Eurotrip, there's a very brief sex. Why do I always go back to Eurotrip?
Yeah,
and Bride
what
and Prejudice.
is it with you in that movie?
There's a brief sex scene. I remember watching it as a kid being like, this is scandalous, you know? My mum even came in and she was like, what are you watching? And we were like, no.
Well, because it was shameful and hidden, and so then we made it explode everywhere.
Yeah, well, if something's shameful and hidden as a kid, you seek it out more.
Yeah, we really jizzed out the sex comedy.
Yeah.
Now for the overview, what do I do, man?
Oh, you.
What do I do?
Hey, I did this last week. Don't worry.
What do I do with this? So I've categorized them
Okay.
into 4 loose categories.
Okay.
There's the sex ed classes,
Yeah.
which extend outside of sex ed, but they feel like they are like the A plot stuff.
Yeah, well, the main thread of the film is Mike at school having a crush on Stacy.
Yeah, like Frankie Muniz is part of it only in the sense that
Only in the beginning.
well, no, but that's what I mean is like some of the sketches are starring the people in that class. So
Yeah.
like Betty, the woman he's fucking, is in that class,
Yeah.
and that comes back later
Yeah.
because Michael Cera then is getting enticed by Betty.
It's like basically an ensemble of teenagers, and they all have their own little skits.
Yeah,
and the
but
stuff
Mike
on the
gets more of
outside
them.
is Kevin Hart's skit.
Yeah.
Don't know where he came from. Don't think he goes to the school. Maybe.
Well,
he
but some of the
does?
guest stars like Frankie Muniz and Kevin Hart, we don't see again, but we see the other ones.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
those sketches, like I'm pretty sure we see Jermaine Williams in the back of that class. So
Look, it's tough to go through.
There's Frankie. This is what I wrote. I wrote all of these while watching. Mm-hmm. So forgive me for the summaries of them. Frankie Muniz loses virginity, and then his girlfriend amps up the stakes until he runs away. Mm-hmm. Sex ed class 2. Well, this is the first one. It's the actual class. High school class gets picked. Oh, it's the class they have to pair up, and he gets picked for gay.
Yeah, and that's funny because being gay is funny.
Pretty funny. Pretty humiliating to be gay. Actually, you know what? I do find it humiliating. Every time I talk to a pretty woman, I'm like, this is humiliating for sure. Absolutely.
I think you've just got some crossed wires there, Michelle, but we'll talk about it
I'm so sorry. Sex ed class 2, which is they pull out dildos.
Yep.
They all look, and the joke being that the sex ed teacher names a lot of the shapes of penis, and that the guy with Mike gets a little penis.
Yeah. The sex ed classes made me uncomfortable. I was like, if I was in those classes, I would think that the teacher was being inappropriate.
Absolutely.
He was making
For
the
sure.
kids get too involved. When we did sex ed classes, they were like, here's how you put a condom on. They weren't necessarily making, they made us do it on a banana solo, but they weren't like, partner up with someone you would like to have sex with. What the fuck?
Insane.
Ugh.
The next one, class ends. Really, I don't think there was anything more to that scene. That was just kind of the scene that most resembled a scene.
Yep.
The next one, I can't remember his name, because Ryan Pinkston's the main guy, but like I think Rob Pinkston is the friend in the wheelchair. He was Coconut Head in the Nickelodeon show Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide.
Yeah.
Which I watched as a kid, so in all my notes he's just Coconut Head. He was also on Punk'd.
Nice.
He was one of like the actors who pretends to be things, because who would recognize Rob Pinkston? You know, they listened to his sex tape, and then I can't tell. Rob Pinkston invites over a hot, beautiful adult woman.
Yeah.
Who I guess he's previously had sex with.
Well, she's the woman on the tape.
Right.
She's the screamer.
Which is crazy, because why he looks like he's like 14,
they
15.
all look like they're 14, 15. And
she
she's
looks like a 25.
Yeah. And she's like, oh my God, I've got to change my plans now that you don't want to have sex with me.
She should not be having sex with 15-year-olds.
It's really worrisome. Well, no, they're 18, but they look really young.
Oh, they're 18?
Mike says he's 18 at the end.
That's crazy.
I know.
Okay. Well, I mean, 18-year-olds do look young often, right? But she looks like she's much older. Okay, that does change this a little bit. But so, Mike then pretends to have sex and they all listen to him pretending to have sex. And that's kind of it. Then the next one, Michael Cera goes onto a chat room to find someone to have sex. And this is your favorite one.
I thought was actually funny.
Because the woman he's chatting with has a rape fantasy. Yeah. And then he gets called over to enact it, but goes to the wrong place.
Yeah, she's like, I'll be waiting for you. Number 8. And then the woman above her, this old woman in the apartment, the number 1 falls off her apartment door. And so he goes up to get her. What made me laugh about the skit is that when they're talking online and he's just like, oh, I'm so sorry. Can I get you money for a cab home? And she's like, no, I'm in a dark alley. Like,
I did think that was funny.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh my God, I've got pepper spray. I'm not afraid to use it. And he's like, I do not fear you. I'm not afraid of your pepper spray. Prepare to be attacked. I was like, this is funny.
Yeah.
Michael Cera is hard. He's a good actor. He's a good comedic actor.
Yeah. Well, I'll come back to that as a theme. I'm trying to skim through them, and then I've got some broad notes. And it's good. That's also the one with Frau from Austin Powers, right? I forget that actress's name.
She's
good.
in everything.
And then the last one is Mike gets accidentally drawn into a porn shoot with Kyle Gass, and it's a song.
The director,
and then it becomes a musical song.
Yeah.
Which is a joke I don't want to diminish because I think it is funny sometimes when something unexpectedly becomes a song. I've said that on the podcast before.
Yeah.
This wasn't, but it could have been funny.
Could have.
And that's the closest that Mike ever approaches a joke.
In another life. Could have been funny.
I mean, I don't he's like, oh, I found my home here. And I was like, oh, that is a fun arc for him. But then he's like, it's not for me. And I'm like, you kind of, you almost had a story there. And then you abandoned it.
I didn't like the porn. I liked the song, but I didn't like the porn scene.
No, I didn't like that scene.
Yeah, just because it wasn't, that was when it really started to feel flat, where it was like, my mom thinks I'm in college.
Yeah.
And it's like you were both making fun of and exploiting sex workers. How good.
There's a joke that Kyle Gass says at the beginning of the song to explain all of them just fell into porn. He's like, I couldn't frame a shot like Ang Lee, and so I ended up here. And I'm like, bold for the directors of Extreme Movie, a movie that grossed $81,000 at the box office, to go fucking porn directors, am I right?
Yeah.
You can't frame a shot, motherfucker.
Fully. It's just like you're both mocking and exploiting for the value of it. Just pornography. You're both making fun of it and then also enticing people into it.
The direction of this movie is easily the worst part of it.
Yeah, fully.
Insane thing.
Was that the end of the film? Was the porn? He comes back. He's emboldened after that experience. He kisses Stacy, and he gets the girl. He confesses that he doesn't have much sexual experience, and then they likely go home to have sex.
Yeah.
And that's the end, right?
That's the end. That's the end of it. Yeah. Also,
can't forget the skit of the girl and the guy making out, and then she farts, and he goes, hey, nothing's wrong with a little fart.
That is one of the school ones, technically. You're right. Yeah.
He goes, nothing's wrong with a little fart.
Girl farts just a ton.
And then she farts just a... Yeah, you said it.
That's it. That's the whole sketch. A hot girl farts just a ton.
And he's disgusted.
He hates it.
Yeah.
He really doesn't like it. Even though he's the first one to fart. But to be fair, she does fart to a degree that even if I'm comfortable with farts, which I think largely I am, I would be a little that is a bit much. You know what I mean?
That's sexist.
I didn't say I cared whether
Hot girls can't fart.
I never said that. I never said that.
You're just as bad as the men in this film.
I never said I had a problem.
My God.
With any of that.
Yeah, wow. No, she farts first, and then he farts to console her, and then she farts a lot.
Yeah, she farts a ton. Oh wow, this is the same composer as 3 episodes of Laser Fart. Sorry, I was quickly looking up because all of the school stuff is composed. I felt like it was the same composition style as when Ludwig Göransson did the music for Community.
And was it?
A lot of no, of course no. I never thought for a moment it was Ludwig Göransson scoring Extreme Movie, even at the worst of times. Yeah, I mean my notes are very all over the place for this one. So the next category I had excuse me, were the Matthew Lillard interstitials where he plays Matthew Lillard. You didn't like them?
No, I hated them.
See,
they're awful.
I think the jokes are hack.
They're terrible.
I think Lillard is funny and charismatic enough that I actually got something out of it because he's fun to watch.
I liked him less for it.
Wow.
Yeah, really hated the interstitials.
Wow. Like, I think he delivered hack jokes the best way they possibly could have been. Like, the way he rattles them off with such joy. He's like, this is really good advice. Because listeners at home, all of his advice is stuff, like there's a bit where he's like, girl asks you to put a condom on you, turn around, pantomime doing this. If she wants you to, if she never tell your partner you've got an STD, it's a lose-lose situation. His delivery of them is all great.
Yeah, I feel like with those interstitials, I feel like I could see the joke coming around the corner every moment. So I was like, oh,
like the jokes
you
are
said
hacked.
exactly what I thought you were going to say. And it's not like I'm like, I expect them to be great jokes. It's an extreme movie. The idea is that they're meant to be like horrible and misogynistic. But I was like, oh, I'm not getting anything out of this. It's not like delighting me for its stupidity. It's just making me tired.
It did delight me. I think because they were often nestled in areas where the sketches surrounding it were really, really boring and really sucked a lot. And so getting to see Matthew Lillard be kind of charming and funny, I was like, this is, and they were pacey.
You like Matthew Lillard more than me as well.
I do.
That has to be said.
Yeah.
I like him, but I don't know why. There's something that, like, it's not like I ever object to him popping up, but I don't seek him out.
Oh, wow. I like him for his early work, like being the very, very gender character in Hackers, in Scream, of course. He's played a surprising amount of queer characters as well, especially in the 90s. And then, of course, I loved Scooby-Doo. Like, zoinks.
That's also another thing. I feel like I just don't like Scooby-Doo as much as everyone else does. I enjoy
what's wrong with Scooby-Doo?
I enjoy Monster Island.
Sure, yeah.
But I don't really enjoy the premise of Scooby-Doo that much. Therefore, I don't really enjoy the execution.
Four teenagers have a talking dog and then they solve crimes?
It's just that the crimes aren't very good. They're not very interesting.
Well, yeah.
Or very well done.
Whoa. I mean...
And I also don't like the characters. Like, I actually don't like Velma or Daphne or Fred.
What?
Or Shaggy. And I don't like Scoob.
You don't like Scoob?
All he wants is a fucking Scooby snack. He's a leech.
He doesn't only want a Scooby snack.
He is a fucking leech.
He's
and
also
he's
a coward.
Stupid. Yeah, he's a coward.
But he also does it. He still comes through and does it. That's the thing with
by
Scooby-Doo.
accident.
Wow.
He doesn't earn it.
Wow. He's a dog.
I'm just not a Scooby-Doo person.
He's a dog.
I think I've had to come to terms with that recently.
If your cats solved a crime on accident, you'd still be proud of them.
Yeah, but they're my cats. I don't have to. Scooby-Doo's not my dog. So
You know what? That's not a bad
try
point.
talking your way around that.
That's not a bad point. That is hard to argue with.
We all watched a Scooby-Doo film for Halloween.
Well, Scooby-Doo 2 sucks.
It did suck.
Scooby-Doo 2 is terrible.
I really
don't
didn't enjoy it.
When people think it's as good as the first one, it's not. Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed is a bad movie.
I was not engaged.
No, because it sucks.
Yeah.
It's worse. It's like hammy in a way that doesn't work as well. That it's ugly to look at. It's terrible.
Don't get me wrong. I like the aesthetic of the old Scooby-Doo cartoons. Who doesn't like the aesthetic of old cartoons? But it's almost like, for me, like, I love the aesthetic of Batfink, but Batfink is the worst cartoon I've ever watched in my entire life.
Well, this is just Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah. But I liked Tintin. Now I'm just talking about cartoons. I liked Popeye.
Yeah, Popeye's great.
Olive oil is a babe.
Yeah, get me spinach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved Popeye as a kid.
Yeah.
I ate spinach because of it. It really worked.
But I loved the characters because the characters were good.
Do you ever think Popeye was probably supported by Big Spinach?
Oh, Big Spinach had its hands all over Popeye. 100%. They were the puppeteers.
The way you
of Popeye.
phrase it makes it sound like it's one big glob of spinach because it was in a tin.
Yeah,
It was like
really wet.
Yeah, one big glob of spinach as a puppeteer.
It's very sinister. Wet spinach. I had some today.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Was it good? No, it was horrible. You just said that. Well, I'm surprised you don't like Scooby-Doo, all right?
I'm glad we got it out of the way.
I'm excited, though, because finally the listeners will turn on you.
Probably.
I'll make it up for Cat in the Hat, and they'll be messaging you all the day and all of the night going, well.
They can't find me on social media. Also, I just don't care as much as you do. So if someone was like, I disagree, I'd be like, okay.
You hear that, guys? Abby doesn't care. Well, I care a lot.
You do.
I care so much.
Artemis Fowl almost broke you.
It did a little. It let me know the dangers of having a public platform.
Yeah, honestly.
All right, there's the Lillard interstitials. There's also the ads, which I broadly grouped together because I kind of thought there'd be more of them as well. There's the STD e-cards.
They were okay.
the flaccid medicine, and then there was the old people. Not a joke to be found amongst them.
No.
So let's skim over
Very
it.
stale.
And then there was just the sort of loose sketches, right? And I want to go over some of them at the very least.
Yeah.
So the first one, which is the one starring Andy Milonakis, the guy who falls in love with this fake pussy sex toy.
yeah.
Who, by the way, that guy is he's 47. He's one of the people who's got the growth hormone deficiency, so he just looks and has the voice of a kid. But
Are you serious? Because he looked 14 years old.
Yeah, he was 30 doing this.
Fuck off.
Yeah,
he had
for
like a young voice and everything.
He also has the 8th most liked tweet. That's the end of that sentence.
What's the tweet?
Oh, it was right when COVID was happening, and then there were the George Floyd protests, and then there was the launch, like a space launch, and he said, "Congratulations to the astronauts that left Earth today. Good choice."
Ah, very good.
Of like, hey, everything is kind of falling apart, isn't it?
Never heard of him before.
Yeah, well, he's pretty niche as it is. Him falling. Now, I will say, not all of the sketch was very good, but I do actually kind of think the premise of it is funny.
The premise was funny, and it's just a shame they could have done it. They didn't fulfill its potential.
Yeah.
Especially because I actually didn't think that the guy playing the kid was very good at all, which is why it's shocking he's 32, because I was like, he was terrible.
Yeah.
He actually he had no charisma. He had no, I feel like his comedic timing was really bad as well. And like, because he didn't commit to the bit, because his whole thing was being like, I just don't care. I'm sorry. I've got to go. Because of that, it meant that he wasn't playing the part as fully as he could have been when he's fighting with this pussy that doesn't actually exist. But in his mind, I mean, in the story, she's his girlfriend.
Yeah. Which I guess I like the joke direction of it. It's not like he then overuses it or anything. It's like he's in love and is doing like romantic, like when he's on a bicycle and then there's just on the back of it a fake pussy. That was pretty, because it's not just like a fleshlight. It's a full, like, with stumpy legs and everything.
The only bit I did like is when he was at dinner with the new girl he was romancing and the fake pussy's watching him from the taxi.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of funny.
That made me
because
laugh.
he's not saying anything.
Well, and also the fact that it ends not, like, it seems like they're going to reconcile, but then the fake pussy, she overdoses on pills.
Yeah.
That's funny for a fake pussy sketch, is that the fake pussy overdoses on pills.
Again, I agree. I love the premise. They could have taken it further.
Yeah,
and they could have had a better actor.
None of these sketches are good, but like...
the Michael Cera one was pretty good.
The fact that the premise was funny, I was like, oh, wow. Someone does know how to write a joke.
Michael Cera in the consensual rape sketch was very good, to be honest, where he's like, I'm here for the rape, and then he comes in and she tries to call the police, and he's like, and then he pulls the phone line out and he's like, sorry, I'll pay for that.
That was funny. And you're figuring he said specifically, somebody order the rape?
Yeah. It's just Michael Cera trying to be
but I will say,
dominating. It's so funny.
My least favorite way to begin a sentence is Michael Cera in the consensual rape scene.
Do you want him to be in the non-consensual rape
scene?
I mean,
I don't want there to be a rape scene.
Stop saying rape scene.
Oh my god! And so then there was also the street corner confession things, but who cares about those? They weren't very good. Then there's the Abe Lincoln fetish.
I liked the Abe Lincoln fetish.
I kind of liked the Abe Lincoln fetish one too.
I thought it was good. And then when Abe Lincoln, so the thing is that
is that he comes too quick? Or
so the thing is that he's having sex with.
Abby's looking at me so sternly.
Oh, because you keep talking over me. He's having sex with his girlfriend, and he wants her to wear a beard, and then he puts a hat on her, he puts a mole on her, and she realizes that he wants her to look like Abe Lincoln because his whole room is covered in Abe Lincoln paraphernalia. And then the next skit after that is him having sex with Abe Lincoln, or Abe Lincoln really wanting him, bringing him into his skit, and then undressing him and fucking him from behind. And the guy's just kind of like, he's happy to be there, I guess. And then afterwards they lie down and Abe's like, well, that doesn't really happen all the time, I promise. And he's like, are you sure? And that's the whole thing. But I thought it was so stupid.
It was very silly.
But in such a silly, innocent, dumb way. I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I thought that one was good. A problem I have with some of these sketches is they're not really clear exactly what's going on while it's happening, because he seems to come and then they act It either as if he came too quickly, or as if he didn't come, and then they're just feeling that awkwardness after sex, or it's just like
he came.
Yeah. But then I guess it's that they're surprised because that was pretty gay or something.
Well, he's like, well, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, but they seem like immediately shocked that it happened. Which,
I think Abe is like disgusted in himself, and the guy's just shocked that he's there.
Sure,
he did just get ravaged by Abe Lincoln.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I thought it was funny.
I didn't say it wasn't funny. What I'm saying is that the storytelling was unclear.
Get used to it. What show do you think we're running here, Michelle?
That's pretty funny. Then there was Kevin Hart accidentally invents a sexually forward woman and he hates it. There's nothing more to be said, I think.
She wasn't skinny enough.
Yeah, she was fat but wanted to fuck him.
She's also meant to be his aunt because he looked at his aunt's panties. Isn't that the reference? Is that
Maybe?
the whole thing is that he looked at his aunt's panties
Sure.
while he was making this woman and he accidentally summoned his aunt.
Yeah,
I thought that's what it was.
I think he certainly doesn't signal that. It's very much the Borderlands thing of all women are either required to be very, very sexy or very, very disgusting.
Yeah.
And so he was like, she's disgusting.
Because she's overweight and old.
Yeah.
But I think it is also meant to be his aunt. I think that's the added layer to it.
Again, the storytelling is unclear.
No, he says it.
The storytelling. If they would have made it understand it from a piece of dialogue, they should have made a more interesting movie. I wasn't doing something while watching this movie. I was just watching it.
Fair.
You know?
That was a really weak scene, in my opinion.
It really was.
Yeah.
Then there was girl farts just a ton. Woman gets a flip phone stuck in her pussy.
Yeah.
Which was a little unclear that it was stuck at first, I thought. She seemed to just suddenly be surprised.
No, I got it.
Okay, I didn't get it. I didn't get it until she was at the dinner and I was like, it must be stuck.
Clearly something resonated with me in this film.
Yeah, you
because
really
I was
got it.
picking
You
up
could
on
tap
every
into
cue.
the mind of it.
It's like, clearly, Michelle, do you not understand what these two directors were hinting at?
Well, because she's just like fondling herself and then she just is surprised.
It makes no sense.
I thought it was that she didn't, because she gets startled. I thought it was that then she didn't come, because are you ever like about to come and then something like takes you out of it and you're like,
I've never come in my life.
Oh.
I don't have sex.
Oh. Okay.
Not until I'm married.
You are married.
What? Oh my God.
Abby, where are you going? Where are you going?
I have to go home to my husband.
Claude!
I'm ready.
Yeah.
There was another sketch near the Abe Lincoln one that was really good. Well, not really good, but it made me laugh. And I thought of it briefly and I forgot, which is very on trend with me tonight.
Well, I will say I did forget to say with the Lillard interstitials, which I think was it ended on the Lillard interstitials because the end of it is he's asking the audience to send him sexual videos to www.lilhard.com, which I thought was funny.
That was funny.
And then there's specific where he's like, and I'll look at it all night and just masturbate, you know. Anyway, see you and I thought that was funny.
That was okay.
That was a joke.
It was a joke.
It was a real joke.
What was this? There's a sketch that we're missing.
There's Blue Ball. I'm not done. There's Blue
okay.
Bally, the puppet.
Blue Bally was funny.
Blue Bally, I don't know. I kept waiting for it to go one of two ways. Again, not being a teenage boy, but a teenage trans girl, but being around many teenage boys when they're saying the things they're not supposed to say to other fucking human beings. I've heard teenage boys talk about blue balls so much. And let me tell you, it is mostly as a justification for pressuring women into sex.
Yeah, well, when I remember I asked Claude, I was like, is it a thing? And he was like, no.
No, it's not. It's a
blue
fake
balls
thing.
is not a thing.
You can sometimes get an ache, but also just
over it.
grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, it's not about you.
It's fine.
No, apart from the horrible idea of this guy trying to pressure his girlfriend.
I was
just
so
thought,
tense waiting for how it was going to go.
Same, but I thought the whole thing is that he wants to have sex, she's not ready, and then Blue Bally,
Yeah.
this little, puppet comes out talking to him, being like, you know what this means? You're aroused. You've got to go to the bathroom and masturbate to get it
Which,
out.
as soon as he said that, I was like, okay, now I'm into it.
And then he goes up to masturbate. He comes back and Blue Bally is just fucking the girl on the couch and she's really into it. And I thought that was really funny. I didn't expect it at all. I thought it was great.
You really enjoyed this movie.
Some select scenes. Did I mention 1 hour and 9 minutes?
So then there was the chat room dance that goes wrong.
Chat room dance.
Was it a chat room? Because maybe it was just she was sending it to one guy.
Oh, yeah. She's doing like a webcam dance thing.
And then the last of the loose sketches I wanted to specifically talk about before pivoting into the trivia. This is the one. This is the one where the guy gets drunk And then it's Ben Feldman, the lawyer from Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And then he has sex with Jamie Kennedy in the worst wig you've ever seen in your life, as well as a woman. And he's terrified because it meant that he had sex with a man who was European, because Americans always, they're like, oh, those queer Europeans. Insane. And, you know, it's specifically that the Jamie Kennedy character sucked him off, and he's still got the cum on his face, which is very confusingly purple the whole time.
Yeah.
So many of the jokes don't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
And then he goes downstairs. His parents have come home early from the thing, and he's so ashamed. And again, it doesn't make any sense. It's not good. And then there's the reveal. It is a hidden camera show, which is funny. Jamie Kennedy was on it. And I kind of think that was funny.
Yeah, I didn't expect it.
I thought it was kind of funny. And he says, and I'm probably going to censor the actual word because not all of our listeners are necessarily comfortable with it. But the specific line that Jamie Kennedy says at the end, because he's like, did we really fuck? And he's like, yeah, we fucked a little bit, but it wasn't like fatty or anything. That was pretty funny. That's a pretty funny line. It was pretty funny. I was like, that's a joke I'd say. The idea that he's like, well, we didn't have sex. It's like, well, you know, we had sex a little, but it wasn't gay. Like,
yeah.
that's kind of funny as a joke.
Here's something that we have missed, and this is what I was thinking of as well.
Yeah.
What I did find funny was not the first bit where there's a couple on the street that get interviewed, and it's not that funny, that first interview of...
the Vox Pops.
Yeah, where this one, you know, they're like, what's the kinkiest thing you've ever done? And the guy's like, we licked whipped cream off each other. And the girl's like, does it have to be with him? And the guy's like, no. And she's like, well, one time 2 black guys fucked me, and then I sucked both of them off. And then later, like, you see the guy's upset about that. And then later, there's 2 black men getting interviewed, and they're like, one time this girl let us have sex with her, and then she sucked both of us off. And you see her boyfriend in the background, like, freaking out.
I do think the specific moment of it, like the camera finding that he's behind and then zooming in on him, just like leaning over, that's a funny moment. Yeah. That's all right. That's
Look,
not
for me,
bad.
when I think about it, Michael Cera was the highlight and Abe Lincoln was the highlight.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I am getting dumber.
I think so.
Yeah.
There's no way we would have tolerated a frame of this when we started this list, for sure, right?
It's so refreshing when I go see a good film.
Oh, I will. Yeah, that is true. I think I'm so joyous and rapturous in a way that I wasn't necessarily before.
Yeah.
I'm so appreciative whenever a good fucking movie comes on.
Yeah, the natural serotonin, dopamine of just enjoying something for once.
Oh my God.
Forgot what it was like.
Do you want to hear some trivia?
Yes.
IMDb trivia.
There was almost no trivia, which was very difficult, but there is 2 things I had. One is the film was released internationally by Dimension Films, and in the United States it was released straight to DVD by Dimension Extreme.
Great.
And then the other piece of trivia is the unrated version is actually 10 minutes shorter due to the pre-credit outtakes being cut.
What the fuck?
Which I think is also very funny. Do you want to hear some reviews?
I would love some reviews.
Reviews.
So this is one of the 3.7s, I'm pretty sure, on IMDb. It's still 3.7. It did not have a rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and we often do it. Common Sense Media rated the film 1 out of 5 stars and called it an extreme waste of time. And here's some IMDb reviews. Here is the highest review I could find, titled, but I'll say right now, there's no 10s, there's no 9s, there's no 8s.
I think we'll encounter this more as we go along.
This is one of only 2 7 out of 10 reviews, and it is titled "Not as Bad as Some Have Reviewed."
Okay.
Which I do think is very funny that the highest rated review for this movie is "Not as bad as some people are saying."
Yeah.
By Trench Crymore. It's a crazy name. So here's the deal. I caught only the last 3 skits of this movie, and now I really want to see the rest of it. The fact that people are saying it's worse than the spoof movies that have been flooding theaters is complete garbage. It's not for everyone. Imagine the most vulgar movie you have seen. This more than likely pushes the envelope a little bit farther. I am not a fan of American Pie movies and things that fall in that genre, which this kind of does. What separates it from that style is that it's a few separate skits. No one falls in love. It's a few separate skits. No one falls in love or learns a valuable life lesson to take it from crude entertainment into corniness. Not for everyone by any means, but if you like vulgar comedy, this is worth checking out. Just don't take it too seriously. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
I do love, again, highest review, 7 out of 10. Not as bad as some people said, and then starts with, I only saw some of it.
Yeah, I only saw the last 3 bits.
I only saw the very end of it.
Therefore, I'm qualified to leave a review.
Here's the other one, titled Funny Movie by John Diamante. And it is not what I expected, but very enjoyable. The wife and I liked it, and we are both over 50. 7 out of 10.
That's the reviews I'll be dropping when I'm in my 50s.
I'm over 50, and I like this teen sex comedy.
Me and my husband loved this.
Here is the final one that I picked, which is titled More Like Groove Tube Than Movie by HE88. And by the way, I did double check, because 88 sometimes can be Nazi, but based on their other reviews, I think it's just their birth year.
Okay. It's a tough birth year to have.
It's a real rough birth year to have, I think. Okay. So there was a lot of flat and not too polished aspects to this film. On the other hand, there were some definite home runs. The first scene with Frankie Muniz was one of the most gut-busting funny bits ever. I laughed so hard I started choking on a cookie I was eating. The movie was set up more like the 70s gem Groove Tube that came across as if you were surfing through TV channels. There was one consistent storyline that it would keep coming back to, but in between there were fake commercials, skits, and even a tip to HBO's Real Sex, where they would do the supposedly random interviews on the street. Which usually turned out with more info than one of the interviewed knew or basically wanted to know about the other or others.
What?
I think they had a stroke in the middle of it. I too was going to drop the movie early on, but I decided to hang in there a bit and was able to get a few more laughs. I mean, a movie with fart jokes involving pretty girls can't be all bad, right? Like Groove Tube, I think this was probably made with the idea that people in a state of mind pollution would find this rolling on the ground funny.
What?
And they'd probably be right.
What's a state of mind pollution?
I think if you're on drugs.
Okay.
In that state of mind pollution. But this isn't the 70s, so I don't think it received the same underground fame that Groove Tube did. 6 out of 10.
What a harrowing review to have to get through.
They're the best reviews I could find. What was yours?
Better than that. Look. I'm leaning into the fact that my standards have been warped. I feel like there was a couple of things that genuinely made me laugh. And it was an hour and 9 minutes long. But then, of course, it was full of horrible sexist misogyny and objectification of women, which also takes it down a couple of notes. But would I watch this over a good year? Yes.
What?
Well, because it's shorter than a good year.
You can't be doing this right now.
I would reclaim my time.
You can't be doing this right now. This is an insane thing.
5.1.
Oh my God.
5.1.
Think about what you're doing.
It was short, Michelle.
This is going to be the worst piece of trivia when we'd have to do not Human Centipede 3.
I got at least 21 minutes of my life back today.
This is terrible.
You know what this is doing? It's corrupting me. And yet you punish me and not the list. All right? I'm a product of the major problem here. And it's what we're doing. Not who I am.
This movie was casted, shot, and scored like it was a Nickelodeon sketch, which made it deeply upsetting to watch them all desperately want to fuck.
Yeah.
Honestly, it doesn't resemble a movie. It isn't a movie. It's like a proto-YouTube sketch, except I had to watch fucking, 25 of them in a row. And I could not turn it off because of this list. I hated it. It's 0.5 out of 10.
Whoa! That's a massive disparity.
I know that some of the bits I laughed at, but it wasn't worth it. I would rather have not seen it.
For me, it was like an unexpectedly short, but sometimes funny experience.
But it didn't feel short. It was like the longest 69 minutes of my life.
For you, it did. It didn't, but for me, it did.
This is craziness. I can't believe you gave it above a 5.
This film is ripping us apart.
It's tearing us apart. All right. Well, that's the end of our friendship.
That's the end of the podcast altogether.
But, you can still find us on social media. You can find us on Twitter at RateDescentPod, on TikTok at Radio Descending, or you could email us at radiodescending@gmail.com. I love them emails.
And we're also on YouTube at the moment as well. If you type in Rating Descending, you'll find us.
Yeah, baby.
Waiting for ya.
Waiting for you. And it will allegedly come out the same day. But
With
you could...
hope.
We hope. Patent pending. But you can also find me on my social media. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Michelle.St. Also, you can find on my Instagram, and by the time this episode comes out, on the Radio Descending TikTok, the pizza sketch that us and honored friend of the podcast, Gaten Souza, made together. You can also find the docu-series about trans teens unerased on Instagram at -18youth, or on TikTok at unerased.tv. Also, you can find No Ordinary Love on YouTube at No Ordinary Love. Soon, I'll be able to talk about another series I worked on YouTube called Shippers. I'm pretty sure the trailer's out for it, so go watch that on YouTube.
Woohoo!
Also, go buy Kairos or Blueback on DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And please, wherever you get your podcasts, leave us a review there. Just say hello. 5 stars. Hello.
Oh, it really makes
It makes a
difference.
big old difference.
It makes a big difference in our little old lives.
Yeah.
Well, that was extreme movie for all it was.
Yeah.
What are we watching next week?
Michelle, next week we are watching the remake of The Wicker Man.
Wicker
with
Man.
Nick Cage.
Yeah.
I have seen the original because the original was Claude's favorite film.
Wow.
And he showed it to me when we started dating, and I didn't really dig it. I liked the atmosphere, but I didn't really dig it.
Oh, it's Wicker Man. Oh, then look at all those bees. That's Nick Cage, right?
Yeah.
There's bees in it, right? Oh, wow. Look at all these bees.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Nailed
he
it.
likes the bees, right?
For
I haven't
sure.
seen it yet.
sure.
Yeah, he loves them.
I don't remember any bees.
Well, we're about to watch it, and the listeners will not watch it with us, but they'll hear us talk about them bees, baby.
Do you know that there's bees in this?
Yeah, for sure. All I know from cultural references to the remake of it is that there's bees.
I don't remember bees in the original.
I think the poster is him with bees.
I haven't seen the poster yet, so I just don't know what you're referring
There's
to.
bees.
Okay.
All right.
Bye. See ya.